spring is characterized by the burgeoning of nature. Trees. Okay, let's try that again. Hey everyone, welcome to Learn Chinese Now. I'm Jared Madsen. I have a master's degree in Chinese medicine. I lived in China for many years. I'm fluent in Chinese. And today we will be talking about spring, the season of spring. So we're going to go over the energetic properties of spring, how we get in the flow, how we follow the Tao with spring, right? What do we do? What do we eat? So we're going to start with a comprehensive understanding. And then through that, we're going to have some specific things that we want to do, things that we want to avoid, foods that we want to eat. So let's dive in. Spring is the wood element. So in Chinese medicine, we have the 5 elements, and spring is the wood. Why? Because things start to grow in the spring, right? So it's plants, it's growth. That's what you see. Everything starts to come up in the spring. Spring is the beginning. Spring is the morning. Spring is the start of your day. This is the energy of spring. The organs connected with spring are liver and gallbladder. Okay, so in Chinese medicine, we have yin and yang. Yin is darkness, yin is cold, yang is open, it's bright, it's empty, it's energy, it's activity, it's that. Each organs have a pair. Liver is a yin organ and gallbladder is the yang organ. Both of these are wood organs. They are organs that we are going to see a lot of that are very active in the spring. So we want to do things that are good for our liver. You take care of your liver will take care of you because the liver processes stress and toxins and things like that. So you definitely want to take care of your liver, and you want to know what? Spring is a great time to do that. The color of spring is green. Gee, I wonder, well, that's right. Plants are green, growth is green, it's all of that. Nature is green. The flavor is sour. That connects with the liver, right? Your vinegars and things like that. Something to keep in mind. Spring is a time of renewal, growth, and expansion. Okay, so we were just in winter, right? Where we hunkered down, we did our planning, we did our meditations, and we preserved our vital energy, our Jing energy. And now it's spring, right? Renewal, growth, expansion, quite different than winter. The liver, which is particularly active during this season, plays a key role in detoxifying the body and ensuring smooth flow of qi. So the detoxifying of the body is not just detoxing it of like weird chemicals or things like that. It's also detoxifying it of emotions. According to Chinese medicine, mind and matter are the same thing. So if you have physical ailments and things that are physically that can affect your emotions and vice versa. So we want, the liver deals with all of that. This season is ideal for planning, setting goals, and initiating actions. I'm going to say that actually the planning and setting goals, you're going to want to do more in the winter, but then spring is when you really start to initiate those. So if you didn't do those in the winter, you can do that in the first part of spring. But if you were smart, you got all your plans ready in the winter, and spring comes out, that first sprout shoots out of the ground, and you are ready for action. You are going, you're taking on spring, you're getting stuff done. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is really kind of get a comprehensive idea of the energies of what spring is. Now, if you insist and you say, Jared, I don't want to know the energies, I just want to know the stuff to do. Well, I guess you can skip ahead in the video, but you know what? This is the meat of it. If you understand this, all that other stuff will make sense. And even if I forget to mention a particular food or whatever, you can use you can use these understandings and go, I should be eating this, or I should do this, right? That's what we want. We want to get into that mindset. We want to get into that flow. We want to be in the Tao of spring. Okay, in the winter, we plan for things. And in the spring, with the growth and things actually happening, now is the time for us to take action on those plans. Now is the perfect time. If you jump the gun and you take action in winter, not so good. If you wait and you say, you know what, I'm going to do that in the summer, you're gonna miss a bunch of opportunities. I'm telling you, spring is the time. Spring is characterized by the budding of trees, the blooming of flowers, and the greenery returns. In human terms, this translates to personal growth, expansion of ideas, and an increase in physical activity. So if you watched our video on winter, you would know that there is more meditation and Tai Chi and stuff like that, which that's great anytime, but not so much. Maybe a little bit of gym time in the winter, but not really so much. But spring, okay, this is the time to get going. This is the time to start a good workout routine. This is a time to write that great, winter's a good time for that too. Spring is a good time for action, though. It's actual physical action, which can also be mental action, actually getting stuff going, pushing stuff there. It's not the plan anymore. Now we're actually making it happen. What do we avoid in the spring, right? We're getting an idea of what we need to be doing, but there's certain things we need to avoid to make sure our spring is especially successful. Spring often brings windy conditions and allergens, which can disrupt the body's energy and trigger allergies. Wearing appropriate clothing to shield against wind and pollen is recommended. Okay, so there's a few things to say about that. In Chinese medicine, there are 6 pathogens on the outside that are trying to enter into your body, and we don't want them to enter, okay? One of those is wind. Now, you may or may not have noticed, but I think now you will notice it's very windy in the spring. It can be very windy in the spring. Okay, so we kind of think, oh, spring, maybe I'll get the shorts out and I'll go and run around. And because some of the days can be really nice. But you have to remember, the energy of winter is still kind of lingering in the spring. Even on the warm days, it still is a little bit there. And that too, that's part of what causes all of that wind. And so you want to be careful of the wind. So even though we're not wearing necessarily as thick of clothing in the winter, we want to stay thoroughly covered. If you're running around in shorts or t-shirts too early in spring, you might be asking for trouble. Okay, that's one thing. Now, the other thing is going to be pollen. What do we do? Well, this isn't really about pollen, but I'm going to say there's a couple. Okay. There's one thing that you can do. It's really good, but it's kind of expensive and it takes refiguring your entire house. So in Europe and in Germany in particular, they have passive house. Now, if you haven't heard of passive house, it's a very energy efficient house. We're not going to talk about the energy efficiency, but one thing that's used in passive house, and you can buy these here, you can totally buy them. I got 2 in my house, is an ERV system. This system, basically what it does is it brings in fresh air from the outside, filters it, and then warms or cools it with the air that is leaving the house. So it sucks some of the bad air out. People who live in houses with these ERV systems and have allergies, many people have found their allergies immediately go away. Why is that? Well, it's pretty simple. If you have a tightly wrapped house, so not a house that can breathe, don't fall for that nonsense. It's a tightly wrapped house, and then you have your ERV system that is pulling in this fresh air and filtering it. What are you filtering? You're filtering out a bunch of pollens and other random stuff. So you could argue, if you have a passive house or just a nice sealed house with an ERV system, you are going to greatly reduce the amount of pollens and allergens that you're breathing in when you're inside your house. And there are certainly people with severe allergies. They will go to a house like mine and very quickly, especially you spend a night in a house like this, often I'll hear people say they wake up and my allergies are gone. Well, that's because you didn't breathe in any allergens because we filtered them all out and you're breathing nice, fresh air, right? So that's one thing. Some people try to use a mask and walk around with a mask on. If it works for you, that's all I'm going to say about that. If it works for you. Another thing that you could try, just thinking out loud, is that some places have like those oxygen, like an oxygen bar, right? Or it's just basically a place where you can breathe straight oxygen. Maybe that's something to try. But really the problem is not so much the oxygen, it's the pollen. So, get yourself a new house, I guess. Let's talk about the liver, especially the liver in spring. In traditional Chinese medicine, the liver is responsible for the smooth flow of qi. Okay, so if you don't know a whole lot about qi, you can watch my video here, I hope it's there, that talks all about the different types of qi, but basically you can just think of it's the energy of the body that flows in the body, outside of the body. It's created by the food we eat, the air we breathe. That's qi. It's important stuff. Spring's energy supports the liver's natural detoxification function, helping to cleanse the body of the stagnation and toxins accumulated over winter. So this is a great time for us to take a step back and think about spring, right? Think about winter compared to spring, right? In winter, we're all hunkered down. We got our warm teas and our stews, and we got a blanket, and we're trying to avoid people. We say hi to people, but we're sleeping and things like that. Whereas in spring, you have this blossoming of winter, a cleanse of the body, if you will, right? That energy is coming out. So in the winter, if you had hunkered down and really nourished yourself, you're going to have strong Jing energy. And so in the spring, that's going to come out, and you're just going to like all of a sudden, feel like you have superpowers or whatever. That stagnation then and toxins need to be released, right, during that process. And that's why you're going to have this flow of energy, but you want to have the liver be taken care of because it's going to be on high demand processing all these toxins, right? It's not just the allergens and pollens and stuff floating around or whatever that stuff is. There's also stuff from the inside. So the liver has to deal with stuff from the outside and the inside. The liver's got a big job. We want to take care of the liver. We're going to get to some of how we do that later. Emotional health. We briefly talked about this. The liver is also closely tied to emotional health, particularly to emotions like anger and frustration. And hey, guess what? Stress, any kind of stress. If you have stress, your liver has to deal with that. Spring is the optimal time to address and release these emotions, fostering a sense of emotional renewal and well-being. So however you want to go about releasing those emotions, I would recommend laughing. Laughing is a great thing to do to release the liver. So if you think about it, when somebody sighs, right, something happens, I sigh. What that is the liver. It's a very real reaction of the liver being overloaded. It releases a little bit of its energy. It's like, it's too much, right? Like just like what we do when we get overloaded. If we can't take it anymore, it's like, leave me alone, right? So that's the liver going, what are you giving me all this stress for? And then you sigh. If we want to be proactive in like giving the liver a chance to just naturally release itself, to just, not naturally, but just give it more of a chance for it to release it, to proactively release itself, you want to laugh. You have to laugh out loud. It's not just thinking something's funny. It's actually laughing, because that's a physical thing that is very similar to sighing. And it's going to be venting the liver. We can call laughter venting the liver. And especially in spring, we want to do that. And you know what? So watch some good comedies, right? Hang out with your friends, laugh, have fun, like physically laugh. It is very good for you, especially in the spring when your liver is overloaded. That's how you deal with those emotions. You laugh. Hey, laughter is the best medicine. In this case, it is. You should laugh more. Okay. See, I just sighed. I'm not stressed. I don't know why I said. These emotions can disrupt the smooth flow of qi. You can like look into more stress management techniques, but I'm telling you, good old-fashioned laughing, good old-fashioned hanging out with your friends, putting a smile on your face and laughing out loud. There's not really anything that's better than that. It's great. And you might say, well, that doesn't resolve the root of any problems or anything. Hey, you feel better immediately. Here's actually another thing you can do. It's not so much it actually is. It actually is as well, a release of venting of the liver, but it's in a totally different way. So, there's a couple things. One is going to be acting on your goals and plans. You made all these goals and plans, actually getting out there, like in the winter, right? So after the reflective period of winter, spring provides the momentum for putting plans into actions. It is a favorable time to start new projects, set goals, not really set goals, but like you should have your goals set already, and make life changes. So this is the time spring comes and you go and you build that doghouse, or I don't know, whatever thing that you had that you wanted to do, you go do that. And you want to know what even better, do it with your friends and laugh at the same time, right? Because that is the outward movement of energy. That's growth, that's expansion, that's going in with the liver, right? That's why we do that. That's why we put those things into action. You put your plans into action in particular, not just running around like a crazy person. That's too chaotic. It's the plans you made in winter. Now you're putting those into action. Another thing, and this is fun, man, I tell you, spring is great. There's a lot of fun. You get to laugh, right? You get to have fun. You get to do cool things. Creative energy. So what does this mean? The expansive energy of spring fuels creativity and decision-making, making it an ideal time to brainstorm and develop new ideas. And not just brainstorm, develop new ideas, acting on those ideas, right? Now's the time to paint. Now's the time to write some music. Now's the time to get that novel going that you were planning in the winter. Right? And authors talk about that, like they're plan, then all of a sudden, if you're going to write a novel, you think about it, you plan it, you get your notes, you do your research, you do whatever, you kind of get everything nice and ready in the winter, you get a nice clear picture. And then when spring comes, boom, that's when you take off and you write that great book that I would love to read. Tell me about it. Creative energy, right? Any kind of creative energy. And again, if you don't tap into your you say, Jared, I'm not a creative person. It doesn't matter. Do finger painting. I don't care. Do whatever. You want to do that because you want to be in the flow with the season. You want something, ideally something enjoyable, and that you can laugh and have fun and do it. But you want that outward, that your liver needs to do that. If you don't let your liver do that, you don't give it that opportunity to grow and expand and let off some steam and just, I'll tell you what, it's not going to like it, and it's going to come back to get you, right? It's not going to process toxins well. It's not going to process stress well. It's not going to process frustration well. And, you might not see the effects immediately, but you're going to pay for that later. Take care of your liver, because your liver takes care of you. And it's great. You're just having fun. Livers likes to have fun. It's creative. As nature becomes more active, so should humans. Engaging in physical activity aligns with the energetic qualities of the season, promoting the flow of qi and overall vitality. Sure. So basically, to kind of put that another way, you've got that energy that was deep in the kidneys that you nourished during the winter, and that's coming up, and you need the physical activity to get that going, to get that flow happening, or else it kind of, the energy just can be chaotic and it'll burst out in weird ways and become not useful. It's not what you want. Whether it's a new hobby, a new fitness routine, or a project, spring's energy supports initiation and progress. Okay, I think we have a very good understanding of spring. I know I took some time, but it's like we really want to, I hope some of that stuff clicked for you and we're really kind of go, okay, I get spring now. I get it. I know what I need to do. Each person's going to be a little different, right? But that's the whole overall energy. And you can figure out what you do, what works for you. I'm just telling you, springtime's the time to do it. So here's some things that we want to do. Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation, yoga. This stuff's always good, right? It's always, right? These practices help cultivate and balance Qi, vital for the active energy of spring, also enhancing flexibility and relaxation. So a lot of those things, these exercises are good any time of the year. I mean, I talked about that in winter, right? They're very good in winter. One thing, though, is that what we talked about right now, flexibility and relaxation. Stretching during this time of year is really good. You want to get flexible, right? This is the opportunity to increase your flexibility. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to tell you a secret. Does anyone watch? I'm going to tell you a secret. If you increase your flexibility, it helps elongate and open up your meridians overall. Right? This is the thing that Chinese medical doctors maybe don't want me to tell you, right? This might be just as good as getting an acupuncture treatment. Shh, don't tell anyone. Stretching, it's really good, especially this time of year. It connects to the tendons, which connects to the liver. Get those nice and stretched out. Don't hurt yourself. Don't hurt yourself. Find a good stretching routine, but do, up your stretching in the spring. You're going to feel great. And then with that increased flexibility, that should last you throughout the year, all the way to the next spring. Stretching. I'm not kidding. Engaging in activities like hiking or gardening can connect you with seasonal energy. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want to go on a hike or do some gardening in the spring? Sounds wonderful, right? We can even do, I forgot what it was called. We can even do forest bathing. That's what it's called. I forgot for a second the term. Forest bathing. I have another video on forest bathing. Check that out. Do that in the spring. Forest bathing in the winter, maybe not so much. Spring and summer, absolutely. That is great things to do. Meditation, yeah, meditation's good all the time. Breathing exercises, yeah, if you want to get into some sort of a different type of breathing exercise, that's good for, like I was saying, the laughing. Like, honestly, you don't even necessarily need to go. I mean, if you want to do a breathing exercise, that's fine. But it's the idea is that helps release that liver energy. So why you might as well just laugh. That's the best breathing exercise there is. In the spring, just laugh and have fun. Now that we fully understand spring, we understand what we should be doing physically. Now we're going to wrap this whole thing up with what do we eat? Okay, so before I dive in, you can probably answer that, right? Spring is growing and there's growth and green. I think that's giving it away. Sprouts, greens, things like that. Obviously, that's the kind of stuff we want to eat in the spring. We're going to dive into some of the specifics here. Leafy greens, kale, spinach, Swiss chard, and dandelion greens. They are bringing in that new energy from the sun. Leaves are that physical expression of growth of the plant. So it's a very real physical expression of liver energy. And what do you want to do? You want to eat that liver energy and get that goodness inside of you. So that's why basically any green leaf, I mean, I gave a few examples, but any green leafy thing that's growing in the spring is going to be great for you. It is also really good for your liver, and it helps with a little bit of the liver's like detoxifying, has a little bit of some cooling properties, but cooling in a good way, right? For the liver, because the liver can get kind of pent up and have some heat. Greens are good for that. We're going to get into a little bit later here about how we want to cook some of those. Now, you've probably seen some of my other videos, and you will know that I am basically against eating foods raw. Definitely I'm against eating meats raw, and a lot of vegetables as well. But to any rule, there's an exception. And the springtime might be the exception. So if you want to have a salad, I know I've come down hard on salads in the past. But if you want to have a salad, the springtime would probably be the time to have a salad. All right, so the next thing is sprouts, alfalfa, broccoli, bean, and pea sprouts. But you want to know what? Any sprout is going to be great. Sprouts are considered a symbol of new growth in the spring. Yes, they absolutely are. If you eat sprouts, you are eating spring. You're eating spring energy. That is directly spring energy. That is great. They are nutrient dense, packed with enzymes, and are believed to enhance the body's energy and vitality. Fresh herbs, mint, parsley, cilantro, and basil. That's kind of the same concept as the leafy greens, right? Everything I just listed there is also greens. We separate them to say, oh, this is a spice or a whatever, and this is more of a vegetable that you eat. But really, energetically, they're kind of very similar. But these have a little bit of something extra. They have a stronger flavor to them, usually. Often these flavors are very good for helping to detox and clear out the liver. Baby carrots, young asparagus, new potatoes, those cute little potatoes, right? Again, you want to eat those because they embody that spring energy. So you want to eat them in the spring. Young vegetables are tender and easy to digest. They contain essential nutrients that help rejuvenate the body after winter. Now, we mentioned too that spring, the flavor is sour. So this would be the time to eat some sour foods, right? Sour fruits are particularly beneficial for the liver in Chinese medicine. They are thought to stimulate liver function and promote the release of toxins. So things like green apples, lemons, limes, all of those things, those are great. Those are great in the spring. Those are the kind of fruits that you want. Lemons and limes, you can use that in all kinds of things, right? You don't have to just eat a lemon or a lime. Okay, you can put it with something else. Let's all calm down for a second. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a few of the ways that we want to prepare the food. So I will start with my least favorite, but you can do it. Don't make me do it. I probably won't do it, but you can do it. I might have a little, but probably not. Fresh salads, combining various spring greens, sprouts, and herbs. Sour dressings made from lemon or vinegar mixed with olive oil and herbs. Fresh salads are cooling and cleansing, which is what we want for the liver. The sourness of the dressing helps stimulate liver function and aids in digestion. I guess when you put it that way, they seem like they're pretty good. Now, here's the beef I have with salads. Not beef salad, but anyway. They are not as easy on the digestion. So now if you are going to eat it, you have your energy rising, the digestion rising, the spleen and stomach, that energy is should be pretty good in the spring. So it shouldn't be as much of a big deal. But if you are the kind of person who has qi deficiency, especially of the spleen and stomach, if you have dampness, so to put it another way, if you're kind of like a soggy, damp person, you're just like bleh, all the time, that's like your qi is kind of weak, and you have dampness, which is another pathogen, one of the 6 evils that we talked about. If that's who you are and how you are, salads you might want to avoid. But if you're not that, then I think that's probably okay to have a salad. Now, what I would recommend over salads, what would be even better, would be light sauteing or stir frying. Good old stir frying, not with a lot of oil, minimal oil, okay? I'm just going to pause here for a second and talk about that. A lot of people say Chinese food is too oily. No, that's when you go to some Chinese restaurants, and usually not the very good ones, and they use way too much oil to kind of, like any restaurant you go to wants really strong flavors and really oily. It's not just Chinese restaurants, but you notice it there because you see it right in the dish. And you go, oh, Chinese food is really oily. Not really. They use a lot of steaming, and when they do stir fry, it's usually not a whole ton of oil. Plus, what's wrong with oil? Oil's great. Lard is wonderful. I think it's great. Using stir frying, using these methods are a really good way to heat the vegetables, and then it encases it in the oil. So it heats it, and it's usually fast. Stir fry is quick, right? It's hot, it's quick. And so it keeps those nutrients in. So it's all nice and juicy and in the middle, but it makes it very easy for the body to digest those nutrients and absorb the nutrients. If you eat it raw, it's kind of like your body has to cook it for you, has to heat it up for you. Whereas if you do a nice light stir fry, you don't need a ton of oil. That is going to be, in my opinion, so much better than a salad. Adding spices like ginger and garlic not only enhance flavor, but also contribute to their health benefit. That's another thing. Ginger, garlic, scallions, those are kind of really good any time of the year. They're good for two main reasons. One, all three of those help warm you from the inside out and help with digestion. Those go hand in hand. The warming and digestion go hand in hand. And two, all of those have the ability to kind of push out things, like push your energy out a little bit so that pathogens and wind and stuff like that have more trouble entering the body. To put it another way, it boosts your immunity. It helps you not get a cold so easily. So ginger, garlic, onions, green onions, any time of the year. You always want to have good digestion, and you always want to be keeping bad stuff out. That's why virtually, if not every single Chinese dish has at least one of those, if not all three. Might as well have all three in them, right? That's a secret of Chinese cuisine to staying healthy, those three things. So, and in a salad, you can't really utilize those. I mean, I guess you could put like some raw green onions on it. What are you going to do? You're going to put some ginger on? Because when you stir fry, you don't have to eat the ginger. It gets into the oils. It gets into the food, right? And the garlic, the flavor gets in. So stir fry, I'm telling you, that's the way to go. But if you insist on having a salad, spring would be the time to do it. Basically, spring is creativity. It is growth. It is also dealing with built-up toxins. We talk about spring cleaning, right? You have the spring cleaning of the body, right? All of this nutrients and everything that you have over the winter that you have grown your body and you've grown your energy. As that's coming out, some maybe bad things have been there as well, and it's going to be released. So spring is a time for detoxifying. Spring is a time for growth. Spring is a time for creativity. Spring is a time for laughter. Spring is a time for having fun, for acting on your goals, starting new projects. That's what you want to do in spring. All right, that's it for spring. But before we go, you might be saying to yourself, hey, Jared, where can I get a good cup of coffee? Well, you want to know what? You can get a good coffee delivered right to your door. That's right, Days Coffee, the good people at Days Coffee. Now, you might be asking yourself, what's so special about Days Coffee? Well, I'll tell you what's so special about Days Coffee. They have only 15% of the caffeine of regular coffee. You say, Jared, they must be adding a bunch of chemicals to do that. Well, you want to know what? They don't. They have their special secret process where they take 50 some enzymes, some enzyme complex, more than 50 enzyme complex that naturally removes a lot of the caffeine. Therefore, you can get the benefits of coffee, the many benefits, without getting too much of the caffeine. When too much caffeine is what messes you up. So coffee is great after a nice big meal. It's great for getting stuff open and cleansing and more particular, helping with digestion, right? The Italians know this. They drink a nice strong shot of espresso after a big meal. I got no problems with that. I think that's a great idea. That's a wonderful thing. And you want to know what make it even more wonderful? Make your espresso shot with day's coffee. Then you're not going to get all that caffeine, but you're going to get all those digestive benefits. And you want to know what? It tastes great. All right, everyone, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed our talk about spring. If you have not, please subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, leave those in the comments below, and I will see everyone next week.